The Man on the Strand. In 1962, on a warm summer's day, I walked along the Strand on my way to the Liver buildings to deliver some shipping papers. The Strand was deserted, with only a handful of cars and lorries driving by. I was the only pedestrian, except for an elderly man who walked towards me. As the gap between us closed, I saw his legs were badly bent from his knees down, and he used 2 walking sticks, one in each hand, to assist his shuffling, slow-walking pace. I noted how smartly he was dressed, a fine suit with a carnation in his lapel buttonhole, and a handkerchief sticking out of his jacket pen pocket. A fine hat, complete with a small feather tucked into its band. A pale green cravat about his neck. His suit trousers were finely pressed with a knife-edge crease down each leg, and his shoes were of patent leather, shining bright in the sunlight. His walking sticks were knobbled along their length and chipped and split at their ends from constantly supporting his weight. I stepped aside to let him pass, making eye contact with him as I did, but he stopped and raised one walking stick in a gesture of friendliness. "Could you help me, young fella?" he asked. "If I can," I replied, and stopped by his side. "Would you tie my shoelaces, lad? They have come undone, and I can't get at the bloomin' things to tie them up." "Well, certainly," I replied. He stepped back and sat upon a low wall that separated the footpath from an empty block of ground. I placed my shipping document satchel on the wall next to him and bent down on one knee. "Do you want me to tie your laces with a double bow so they won't come undone?" I asked. "No, lad, just a single bow. I can't undo double bows. It's too hard to get at my laces, you see," he answered. I tied his laces and noted the soles of his shiny patent leather shoes were all but worn through to his stocking feet. My eyes smarted a little at the smell that came from his immaculate clothes. It was a scent of mustiness, stale tobacco, and age. "Nice shoes you have, but the soles are almost worn through," I said, as I stood up announcing his shoes were tied. I picked up my satchel and started to walk away. "Thank you, lad. May God be blessing you for helping me. These shoes of mine, like me, have walked a long way, and their soles, like mine, will last a while yet," he said with a smile on his craggy, ancient face. I walked maybe 10 steps, then looked back over my shoulder to see how the old gentleman was getting along. But to my amazement, he wasn't there. In the distance, a couple of people were walking, but no old man, with 2 walking sticks. I looked over the wall. There was nothing but bare ground and a few tufts of grass. The old man had disappeared. I kept the story to myself for a few days, and then asked some of the other shipping clerks if they had ever seen this guy on the Strand. I didn't tell them about his disappearing act. They had never seen anyone with worn-out patent leather shoes. Some time later I asked an uncle who knew the docks, the pierhead and its surrounds, and lots of characters who lived thereabouts, and he answered by saying, "You must have met old Nick, taking on an afternoon walk